Okay, so I just want to show a couple of quick things if your ballasts are like not draining. So mine should be draining right now, but they're not. There's nothing going on back there. So the first thing to check is, this is on a 2006. I don't know about all other models, but up here, this module right here, make sure these wires are plugged in and not corroded. If you take this black cap off, you will see two teeny tiny little Phillips head plastic adjustments, and you can stick a Phillips head screwdriver and move them. I would memorize where they are before you touch them in case it doesn't do anything, so you can get them back. This is the sensor that keeps the pumps from running if they're dry. Now there's another setting that sort of does the same thing, another sensor. So back here, this cable right here in the back of the boat is connected directly into this tank. And there is a sender in there that tells the gauges whether they are full or not. So let's take a look here. The port side is pretty empty. So we can fool that. Remember, the pumps are actually draining right now. They're just not actually working, but they're in the drain mode. So you can take a little piece of wire. Had another piece, but I don't know what to do with it. And you unplug this. And then we put the camera down for a second. Okay. So then we're going to create a little jumper. So inside here, there's just two wires. And we put one wire in there. And when we touch the other one, the other side, sorry, hard to do with one hand.
Sure. Are you done?
You can hear the pump running when I do that, when I actually made a connection. So all we're doing is making a loop back from one side to the other. That tells the gauge that it's full, the sender that it's full. My senders obviously aren't working because as soon as I do that, it starts pumping out. So I need to replace my senders, which are inside that tank there. One other trick, if you have one pump that's acting up, so there's three pumps here. Okay, these are the pumps that bring water in and out of the ballast. So here's the port, here's the belly, and here's the starboard. So let's just say that the port was not pumping like it should be. I've checked everything else. I know that the gauges show that they're full. Oh, one other thing I should note is that when you create that jumper wire, if you go and look at your gauges, it should show full, like all the way, as full as it could go. So you can take the power from, so here's the power right here that belongs to the port pump. I could take the starboard power, unplug these two, and reverse them so that I'm getting power to this pump from, so this port pump would get power from the starboard power. And then I would use the starboard controls on the dash to test to see if the pumps, if it's an electrical problem. One other thing you should note, there's only two wires that go into each pump, but the pumps will do two things. They will either pump in, they'll run forward, or they'll run in reverse and drain. So the only way that can happen, since there's only two wires, is positive and negative get reversed, depending on whether you've pressed the button once or held the button in on the dash. So you can actually create, what I did was to test to make sure my pumps actually ran in reverse, just because I didn't know what the problem was. I took some alligator clips and I put them one on each one of those little terminals, and then I put some cardboard in between them so the terminals can't touch. Then I took the other end of those wires that were attached to the alligator clips and I plugged each one in to one of these holes. The first time I did it like normal, where they were just as they are connected, and I made sure that like fill worked, but in my case drain wasn't working. So then I took the two wires out of these two holes and I reversed them and I stuck them back in. Well, that creates a reverse polarity for the pump, and the pump actually starts draining when you press the pump in button. So I just press it, don't hold it, just press it like you're gonna fill, but the pump will actually run in reverse. And that way I made sure that my pumps were actually, running like they should be. So hope this is useful.